of dollars supposedly go missing every year as well. We have Donald Rumsfeld. Remember, friends and fans, the day before 9/11, Rumsfeld said we got 2.7, or he said $2.8 trillion missing from the Pentagon. That's just from the Pentagon. A lot of people think it's even maybe 7 or 8 trillion. That's just from one department. Trillions of dollars go missing. That was the day before 9/11 happened. Rumsfeld said that. That's right. And what happens? Well, we got hijackers that supposedly got on these jet planes with their ice cutters and were able to remotely control a jet plane to hit the towers. I say remotely controlled because I don't even think we actually had hijackers on the plane. I think those jets were remotely controlled. There's evidence for that. That's a whole other video. Boeing had that technology where you can actually remotely control these jet planes and it can't be interfered with once you set it up. And you can put the jet planes and guide them to wherever you want them to go. But anyway, the point being 9/11, what happens with the towers going down, and then you had Building 7 going down, which was the Pentagon building, where the CIA, Pentagon, FBI headquarters, all kinds of accounting offices. In the towers, you have many more also accounting offices on those, what, 43rd floor, whatever, 47th floor. What happens? They're all destroyed, of course, and thousands of innocent people, unfortunately, died, of course, too. That's a big tragedy. And the accounting offices, they get destroyed. So the trillions of dollars that go missing every year, you can't track it. How convenient. Geez, I wonder if there was some secret groups, secret societies of the deep state involved with 9/11 that made it happen. I wonder. I wonder if the conspiracy really is a conspiracy with 9/11. Come on, box cutters with Arabs on a jet plane and they're able to hit the towers? How ridiculous. I mean, in the U.S., they never, I don't even remember the U.S. really apologizing for letting this happen, for their lack of oversight. I mean, and no jet interceptors were able to, you're telling me were able to intercept these jet planes that day? I mean, there's so much evidence of an inside job for 9/11, friends and fans, and you know what? Don't just listen to me. Go to sites like geoengineering.org, friends and fans, and you will listen about the inside job of 9/11. You will learn about chemtrails that go on in our skies. That's well documented. You'll listen about all the documents of the military, how they're trying to control the weather, and other organizations to weaponize the weather. And it's happening, friends and fans. I mean, we had the earthquake in Haiti. Do you really think that it was just a normal earthquake, that it just so happened there was an earthquake in Haiti? Do you not think that actually the military was involved in creating that earthquake, or should I say certain factions of government were involved in causing that earthquake? Do you know contractors make a lot of money from causing earthquakes in certain parts of the world, right? I mean, and then of course you have the Clinton Foundation, and they went down there and they're supposed to be all saviors, right? They're going to do all this good work, they say, and apparently they didn't even do half of what they promised they would do. And a lot of that money, millions of dollars, went missing in Haiti. They didn't go to the poor people down there. There's a lot of money missing, a lot of crazy, weird stuff that went on in Haiti, friends and fans. And I know this because I talked to a woman who was from Haiti, and when I told her about my evidence that I learned about that the U.S. caused this earthquake in Haiti, certain factions, she totally agreed. And she said, she listed about 10 different weird things of the timing of that earthquake, before and after that earthquake, and the response time. She knew, as well as the president of Haiti, they all knew that the U.S. were involved in causing that earthquake. Why would the president of Haiti say that he basically blamed the U.S. for causing the earthquake? Anybody can find this information out. Do you think he just made that up? Of course not. He knew that what the U.S. had, the capability of their technologies. And part of me loves certain aspects of the United States. I'm not saying the whole country of the U.S. is evil, of course. But I'm frustrated as hell as the United States. You know why? Because I can't even go to the U.S. right now. Because since 9/11 happened, I can't, because I stole a Jeep when I was like 20 years old, I can't even go across the border again. They want me to have I have to have a U.S. waiver, pay what, $1,200 or some odd dollars. It's only good for a year or 5 years. they could still turn you back if they want to be pricks at the border. So right now, I can't even go to the United States. I can't even go to Florida to see my mother's house. Can you believe that? Or back to Las Vegas and have a great time and flex my muscles at the pool and maybe dance for some ladies again in Vegas. Can you believe it? All because of 9/11 in the U.S. It's a money grab, isn't it, United States, for you guys, right? You turn back people, apparently, that smoke pot 15, 20 years ago. I've heard many, many stories of these people that smoked pot many years ago, and 15, 20 years ago, and they can't go to the United States because of it. Oh, unbelievable. Well, you know, Canada's not a whole lot better, and you know why? Because us Canadians, Harper tripled the price of a Canadian pardon, friends and fans. Can you believe that? He tripled the price. So now a Canadian pardon is basically, after you get your fingerprints and do all the paperwork and sign it off and send the money order, pay cash, it's the same amount as a U.S. waiver. It's ridiculous. Money grab for the government. Anyway, I got off track. Sorry, friends and fans, but I talked about 9/11 and I won't get into the technologies that brought those towers down, but I just wanted to say, speaking of the astronauts and you know, being followed by these UFOs and videos of UFOs flying around in space, going to the moon and Mars, I also argue that we have bases. There's circumstantial evidence that we've got tunnels on Mars. We've been going there for decades as well. But this high pitch of technologies, let me just rephrase that. First of all, Richard Dolan, this very prolific author, coined an amazing phrase. He said, we have a breakaway civilization. And even Joseph P. Farrell, who I talked about earlier, he's taken that phrase from Richard Dolan, as he admits, and he's used it in the correct context, as they both do. And what it is, basically the definition is that we have a group of humanity that has access to a magnificently high pitch of technologies that are much more profound than what's seen in the public spectrum, okay? And this high pitch of technologies, in other words, it gives them really a different cultural matrix by which they view the world and make their decisions. So in other words, in short, they're in possession, basically, of seeing the world differently and probably have a very different cosmological viewpoint. That is the breakaway civilization that we've had for decades. And that is those off-world officers, they call themselves. If you do any research on Gary McKinnon and what he found out hacking into the military, the U.S. computers and NASA, that was one of the terms they used. They didn't use aliens. You know, again, friends and fans, a lot of ufologists, they jump on the alien bandwagon. And why do they do that? There could be several reasons. One of the main reasons why ufologists jump on the alien bandwagon, 99% of them or 90% of them, is because it helps them sell books. And you know, as good as an author Richard Dolan is, he's one of the best, and he's one of the best on the UFO phenomenon covering it, he also suggests and brings up sometimes that he thinks some of these are aliens, that there's some sort of extraterrestrial off-world presence, in other words, with some of these UFOs. And I totally disagree with him in that one aspect. And any other ufologists who suggest that we're being visited by aliens. Again, I would like nothing more to find the evidence that we are being visited by some sort of alien race. Whether it be drones from aliens. I mean, certainly you're not going to have aliens, an actual live alien being in a UFO that has traveled thousands, if not millions of light years away with those incomprehensible vast distances in outer space, interstellar space. I mean, we're lucky if we can ever get to the point as human beings to be able to, we'd have to literally not send a human being to many of these star systems. We'd have to send some sort of robot that wouldn't be killed by the radiation in space, for example. So, you know, we're not, unfortunately, I don't see any evidence that we have been visited by aliens from many light years away. I think the distances, again, could be too great. And, you know, I think there could be other intelligent lives in other star systems, but I think in that case, the star systems are probably far too far away for even, you know, even with technologies. Let's say a race was around for 1 billion years older than we are, because human beings haven't been around very long, as you know, and the Earth has been around for what, 3 point something billion years. But I think even if aliens were 1 billion years ahead of us, it doesn't necessarily mean that they could ever you know, get through the physics of being able to travel interstellar space, you know, to visit Earth, even if they found us. I mean, it all depends on physics. And I think you can only go sometimes so far with physics. Although I say that, and the good news is that anytime we think something's impossible, scientists, cosmologists, we've always found a way to actually prove that it's not impossible, it's possible. So maybe I should keep my mind a little bit more open that way. But again, all these identified flying objects, they're not aliens though. It is the military. It's an answer called the military industrial complex. And now we have drones, as we all know, flying above Earth's orbit, probably in space as well. We certainly have UFOs flying in space with the anti-gravity propulsion systems, as I've talked about. It's just amazing stuff, friends and fans. And again, I think most of us in the general public, I think it's about time we know about these technologies, because it's been over 60 years, man. Over 60 years since we've had the anti-gravity, since we've had the UFOs flying above Washington. What, since 1954, as I told you, friends and fans. And in 1947, with the discs coming out of the ice. In Puerto Rico, countries like Puerto Rico, I think it's Puerto Rico, it's either Puerto Rico or Costa Rica, I always get them mixed. One of those countries, it's called the Mariana Trench, where it's the second deepest part in the world. And literally, thousands of people have seen UFOs coming out of the oceans. And you can see it on videos where they fly literally to space from the oceans. I mean, it's unbelievable. And thousands of people have seen this. It's almost on a daily occurrence. And not only in Puerto Rico or Costa Rica, but all over the world from our oceans. So we have UFOs under ocean bases. We have UFOs coming out from the oceans. We have UFOs all over Antarctica in certain places coming out of the ice in huge caverns. I mean, if you go to Google Earth, it actually looks like a picture of a huge underwater cave that is in Antarctica. Very interesting, and it probably is. We definitely have underground bases in Antarctica. And on another video, friends and fans, I'm going to talk about the bizarre list of people that have gone to Antarctica recently. Actually, why don't I get into it right now, and then I've got to go home and have a rest, because I did a workout this morning, friends and fans. But seriously, so in the last year, I did a video on Antarctica before, but I'm going to touch on it again. So we had Patriarch Kirill of Russia, who is the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. He met with Obama last year in Antarctica. And Defense Secretary John Kerry of the United States, of course, he went up to Antarctica about a week after Obama. Obama went back home. John Kerry goes to Antarctica, and the cover story is, oh, we're going to Antarctica for climate change information. I always say, are you kidding me? You can get all the climate information you want at the desk in Washington. We all know that. So that was bullshit. That cover story is just that. For some reason, they were being called to go to Antarctica, including Obama. And part of that bizarre list of people, because it is a bizarre list, friends and fans, get this. We got Patriarch Kirill, we got Obama, we got John Kerry, we have Buzz Aldrin, the 7th man to walk on the moon. He went to Antarctica at 86 years old, an old man. Why is he going to Antarctica? He also put a strange tweet out. It could have been a metaphor for astronauts, and it said something, I think it said, we're going to the launch pad. But it also could have meant we have launch pads in Antarctica. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we're launching God knows how many satellites from Antarctica, and again, UFOs are there. It's incredible. So, and you know, speaking of Antarctica and the scientists that are up there, I've talked about this on another video. For everything that's going on in Antarctica and for the money that we spend down there, we get very little information back. Very few photos. Most of the information is redacted. There's a lot of secrecy going down there in Antarctica. We all know, you know, there's tons of military down there. I could get into all kinds of reports of things like the military had a shutdown apparently. They sent a lot of military and scientists out of Antarctica. Nobody knew exactly why. It's so compartmentalized what's going on down there, just like the black projects that we have in the military in the United States. It's so compartmentalized and secret that, you know, somebody can be working on one project, but they don't know what the other person's working on with another project. Actually, there's even sometimes a scientist can be working on the same project and they don't even know certain compartments of what's going on the same project. I mean, it's, again, very compartmentalized. So in Antarctica, we got Buzz Aldrin. Not only those people, we have Juan Carlos, more royalty going to Antarctica. We have Prince Harry went to Antarctica about a year ago, I believe. Why would Prince Harry be going to Antarctica? And guess who else went down a lot, who's been in Antarctica for a while? Lockheed Martin. That's right, the head of Skunk Works. Remember I mentioned the huge defense contractor that epitomizes stealth aircraft and secrecy and amazing technologies? That's right, Lockheed Martin are in Antarctica. Now, why is Lockheed Martin in Antarctica? They specialize in technology. So obviously, whatever is in Antarctica, whatever they have found that is earth-shattering, has profound implications, it's got to do with technology. Otherwise, you wouldn't have Lockheed Martin down there. And Lockheed Martin also, you know, collect data and things like that, data transfers. So I believe what they have found, if I was a betting man, I would bet they have found an ancient civilization, very technological ancient civilization like Atlantis. Remember I mentioned Atlantis earlier, that is suspected to possibly be in Antarctica. So I hope this means that we're going to get disclosure, friends and fans, soon, because I don't think all these people, even though I don't think Obama, Buzz Aldrin, they wouldn't be told everything, but they certainly have been told and shown something. And I don't think they're all going to keep their mouths shut forever. I hope not. So this is very, very interesting. I hope you guys find it interesting too. I'm just godsmacked as to this bizarre list of people in Antarctica. And Joseph P. Farrell totally agrees. He's also calls it a bizarre list of people. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I'll keep you posted on that. And you guys can also check Joseph P. Farrell's website. He talks about Antarctica in past reports of what's going on out there. So it's just amazing. We live in a remarkable and privileged era, I always say, friends and fans, right? We live in an era of space travel and exploration. We live in the informative information superhighway, uninhibited and unedited. And again, I'll be speaking about astronomy in the future more, because that is my personal and intellectual journey. And we're releasing the James Webb Telescope, for example, in 2018, which is a beautiful telescope. It opens up like a flower. It's going to go millions of miles into space, whereas the Hubble telescope, which was also a game changer that we had, of course, the Hubble orbited about 375 miles above the Earth's surface, and the Hubble telescope brought us, I always say, it took us a dramatic, colorful trip almost all the way back to the very beginning of time, didn't it? And it gave us amazing photos, astonishing images of our dynamic solar system and beyond, and it gave us, showed us images that are so powerful and dramatic and beautiful that they're known worldwide. Amazing pictures of the Milky Way galaxy, the Andromeda galaxy, galaxies that go almost all the way back to the Big Bang. So the James Webb, friends and fans, it's going to take over, as I say, from the Hubble. And the big difference is it's going to specialize in the deep infrared. So it's going to be able to pierce through the dust clouds, revealing the delicate star formations beneath. And they're going to be able to see the light from the very early birth of the universe, just after the Big Bang. They're going to reveal those delicate star formation structures when the stars were just beginning to form, and they know they're going to make amazing discoveries. So they're very excited, cosmologists and scientists, as well as I am. And hopefully you guys are too, okay? So that launch date's coming up. The James Webb. Again, it's going to be a game changer, much like the Hubble was. And as I always say, as telescopes become bigger and more sophisticated nowadays, they should allow each and every one of us to appreciate the tapestry, majesty, and glory of the universe like never before. Indeed, when we look up at the stars, it should give each and every one of us a real cosmic humility in all of us. And you know what? I can't think of anything more profound than the statement, the true statement, that the atoms from stars that are in your left hand, for example, are probably from different stars in your right hand. So it's just amazing. Again, atoms from stars that exploded, their enriched guts, as I always say, that are in our bodies, that are in your left hand, for example, and in our whole bodies, the chances are the atoms are from different stars in your right hand, from other stars that exploded. I mean, we are stardust. That epitomizes stardust, right? I mean, it's just incredible. So we are part of the universe, and the universe is in us, friends and fans. And I always say, you don't have to have a deep, passionate faith. Forget about man-made religion for a moment. When you look up at the stars, that in itself is spiritual. And cosmologists and many scientists will agree with that statement. Okay, and hopefully you do too. And just be a great person. A good person or great person. Okay? Try. I'm not perfect, but I try to learn from my mistakes. So thanks for listening, friends and fans. Till next time. We'll catch you on the rebound.